Welcome to Mind Unmasked, the place where we peel back the layers of human behavior, unspoken emotions, and the quiet psychology that shapes our lives in ways we rarely notice. Before we begin, let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever looked back at a moment in your life and thought, wait, was she actually into me? Not years later, not with certainty, but with that slow, uncomfortable realization that hits when it's already too late. If that feeling sounds familiar, stay with me, because this isn't about blame, regret, or guilt. This is about awareness, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Most people think attraction is loud. They imagine bold flirting, obvious compliments, dramatic confessions. But psychology tells a very different story. Real attraction, especially when it's mixed with vulnerability, fear, or uncertainty, often shows up quietly. So quietly that it's easy to miss if you don't know what you're looking for. And the painful truth is, many women don't express interest the way men expect them to, not because they don't want to, but because they're protecting themselves emotionally. Let's start with something simple. Have you ever noticed how she kept finding reasons to be around you that didn't really make sense on the surface? Not big excuses, small ones. She'd ask questions she could have easily answered herself. She'd linger after conversations that were already finished. She'd slow her pace to match yours. Psychology calls this proximity seeking. When someone is emotionally drawn to you, their body and behavior naturally move closer, even if their words don't. If she wanted to be near you more often than necessary, that wasn't accidental. That was interest trying to stay safe. Another sign hides in the way she listened to you. Not polite listening, not nodding, but remembering things you forgot you even said, your favorite song, that random story you told once, the detail about your childhood you mentioned casually. Memory is emotional. The brain doesn't store everything equally. It stores what matters. When someone remembers small things about you without effort, it's because you've already taken up space in their emotional world. Then there's the way her mood shifted around you. Maybe she seemed lighter, more playful, or oddly nervous. Psychology shows that attraction activates the same areas of the brain as mild anxiety. That's why people fidget, laugh a little too much, or struggle to keep eye contact when they care. If she teased you gently, challenged you in harmless ways, or created small moments of tension followed by laughter, that wasn't random energy. That was emotional testing. A way to see if you could handle closeness. One of the most overlooked signs is emotional availability. Did she open up to you about things she didn't share with others? Not dramatic trauma, but personal thoughts, doubts, dreams. When a woman trusts you with her inner world, she's inviting you into a space that matters. Psychology tells us that emotional disclosure is a bonding behavior. It's not something people do casually. If she let her guard down with you, that was a door opening quietly. But here's where most men miss it. They wait for certainty. They wait for a clear signal that feels safe. And meanwhile, she's watching, not to judge, but to see if you'll step forward, if you'll take emotional initiative. Many women are taught, directly or indirectly, that making the first obvious move risks rejection, embarrassment, or being misunderstood. So instead, they create moments, pauses, openings, and if those openings are ignored, the interest doesn't turn into persistence. It turns into withdrawal. Think back. Was there a moment where she suddenly became distant, less talkative, less available, not angry, just gone? Psychology calls this emotional self-protection. When someone feels their interest isn't reciprocated, the brain pulls back to avoid pain. It's not punishment, it's survival, and often, by the time you notice the distance, she's already convinced herself that you weren't interested. Another subtle sign lies in how she reacted to other women around you. Not jealousy in a dramatic sense, but awareness, a shift in tone, a sudden quietness, or playful comments that tested your response. Humans naturally monitor competition when attraction is present. If she paid attention to who you talked to and how you talked to them, it wasn't insecurity. It was investment. Sometimes the biggest sign is the simplest one. She waited. She gave you time. She didn't rush away immediately. In a world where attention is everywhere, waiting is meaningful. If she slowed down for you emotionally, she was giving you space to step in. Now, let's talk about why you didn't make a move, because this isn't about calling you out. It's about understanding you too. Psychology shows that fear of misreading signals is incredibly common. Men are often taught that making the wrong move is worse than making no move at all. That uncertainty can freeze action, add self-doubt, overthinking, and past rejection, and suddenly silence feels safer than honesty. But attraction doesn't live in safety, it lives in risk, and when no move is made, the brain fills in the gap. She doesn't think he's shy. She thinks he's not interested. Because interest, psychologically, looks like effort. This is where regret often forms. Not because you did something wrong, but because you didn't do something true. And regret doesn't come from rejection. It comes from unanswered questions, from wondering what could have happened if you'd spoken up. Here's the part nobody talks about. Sometimes she still remembers. Sometimes she still wonders, but life moves forward. Opportunities close quietly, not loudly. There's no dramatic ending, just a fading presence. But this video isn't about the past. It's about pattern recognition. Once you understand these signs, you start seeing them everywhere. You notice the pauses, the glances that last half a second longer, the questions that don't need answers, and more importantly, you learn that making a move doesn't mean being aggressive or confident or perfect. It means being honest. A move can be simple. I like talking to you. I feel comfortable around you. I've been wanting to ask you something. Psychology shows that clarity reduces anxiety for both people. Even if the answer isn't what you hoped for, certainty is kinder than silence. If you're listening to this and thinking about someone right now, take that seriously. Attraction rarely screams, it whispers. And those whispers don't wait forever. At Mind Unmasked, we don't believe in manipulation, tricks, or games. We believe in understanding human behavior so you can act with awareness instead of fear. The goal isn't to never miss a sign. The goal is to stop ignoring your own feelings. So the next time someone makes space for you emotionally, steps closer instead of away, listens like you matter, and waits longer than they need to, don't overanalyze it away. Don't talk yourself out of connection, because sometimes the only thing standing between two people is one honest moment that never happened. And if this resonated with you, if it made you reflect, pause, or rethink a moment from your own life, stay connected with Mind Unmasked. We're here to explore the parts of psychology that no one explains, but everyone feels.